welcome back to This Week in the Mohawk Valley. Jeff Manaski and Jim Rondinelli as we are filling in on the CNY travel portion of today's program.
Yeah, no Kelly Blazowski or Sarah Foster from Oneida County Tourism. So instead of Kelly or Sarah, it's Jim and Jeff.
I was going to say, without one of the ladies here, it's looking a bit scary in here this morning.
Yeah, and speaking of scary, I was going to mention, if you check the calendar, I guess it's not scary that today is October 2nd, but when you think about October, you think about Halloween, and you think about all things, as you mentioned, scary and spooky, and we're here to talk about that this morning.
Yes, we are joined in studio by Josh Reale. He is the owner of Cayo Industrial. It's the Warehouse of Horror. Now, let me ask you this. You're the guy behind this. Do you actually own the buildings?
I don't own the building.
But you're the owner of this attraction.
Right.
So very cool. For those who aren't familiar, it's been, almost 15 years you've been in Utica.
Right.
What is the Warehouse of Horror?
Warehouse of Horror is kind of my own interpretation of a horror attraction. You know, people do like haunted houses, like small or big. Or I just designed Cayo as my own entity and branded it into something unique that people can go to during October. And it just started out with one attraction. I called it Warehouse of Horror in the beginning, and then eventually grew and grew and grew. Went from Little Falls to Herkimer, and now we're in 811 Broad Street in Utica.
How did you come up with this? Has got to be a huge undertaking. To do all this, design it, you change it every year. It's not like it's the same show or the same layout every year. Right. How did you come up with this? And this is probably something you work on year round, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like full time all year round. It's a lot of people think you can just put this thing up. You know, they're like, what do you do the 11 months out of the year? But actually working on this starting the beginning of spring and the off season, I'm usually doing film stuff or writing, making the flyers for these, or just getting a head start on all that stuff. So.
Tell us about how many people it takes to pull something like this off.
Construction wise, it's like me and maybe, you know, whoever I can call to help out at the time.
Yeah.
But event wise, it's a solid group. We have a good number of people inside.
Is it like 20? Is it like 5? Is it like 100? About
say up to 50.
Up to 50 people. Wow. Right. So tell us about the attractions you have this year. 4 different attractions, and is that in 4 different warehouses?
It's actually. I'll get it.
Sorry about that.
It's actually 4 attractions. We have Biowarfare, Biotech, Revelation, and Archana Asylum. The Biowarfare one is more of a war-oriented attraction, and it just kind of displays, you know, kind of gives you a glimpse into worlds of war. And Biotech is kind of a twist on man and animal. How I just got thinking of processing of, you know, all these places, everywhere you go, there's like meat and stuff like that. And then I thought of a sci-fi point of view of that, where we twist of, instead of, you know, us processing animals, it's more like animals processing man.
Right.
And then think of like the Lord of the Flies aspect, where if you're succumbed to an environment for so long, you end up becoming, like, if you're, you know, in an animalistic environment and you're human, you end up becoming, you know, taking on animal traits and stuff like that.
Sure.
So that's the Biotech event. Revelation is why people think the world's going to end, from every perspective, whether it's human nature or a religious perspective.
It's very interesting. Very interesting. And again, I have to confess, I get nervous. Maybe nervous. Just even talking about, I'm looking at the pictures here on these little promo cards that you have. And I don't know what it is, but I have some friends of mine who love to get the daylight scared out of them. They look forward to Halloween. A good buddy, a good friend of mine, his favorite holiday of the year is Halloween. He goes all out. people, I just get so nervous when I'm in there. I'm like, I think it's real. And I'm afraid for two things. One, I'm going to scream or squeal so loud I'm going to be embarrassed in front of the group I'm with, or that my reaction is going to be when someone hops out of a wall that I'm going to punch him in the face. So I get so nervous and scared at these events. I've been inside, I don't know which one it was, but I've been inside one of your attractions at Broad Street. I think 2 years ago I went. And, I mean, it scared the crap out of me. So
that's my job.
That's your job. Like we said, it's something you work on year round. So let's get into a couple of other things. I know, Jim, you wanted to ask. I think you won an award recently.
It's an award-winning attraction.
Right. Last year there was a secret shopper that comes from Syracuse, and they. I guess they came to Cayo, and we don't know who they are. They act like normal people,
people, yeah,
not peepers. They act like normal people going through, and I guess that they go through the Cayo, and then they go through all the other ones in Syracuse, and they rated Cayo #1, and they said that Cayo won by a landslide in a lot of the categories. So
incredible.
And he also featured in as part of a new movie coming out.
Right. I was approached by a director last year. I didn't know it at the time. At Turning Stone Casino, we did a booth at a Halloween show, and I gave my card and everything. And then during the winter time, I was kind of in a slump, thinking the world's coming down, and how it goes. And then all of a sudden I get an email, and I look at it, and I was like, what's this about? And I write him back, not thinking anything of it. And then he writes me back immediately, and he says he's shooting a film in Philadelphia, and he sends me the IMDb link to it, so you can go on, get more information about the page or about the movie. And when I looked at it a week ago, I liked a movie on my friend's page about a Expendables of horror, they're calling it.
Okay.
And it's called Death House. And there's a lot of famous actors in it, like the movie Expendables. You got Bruce Willis, Dolph Lundgren, and all those actors in it.
Sure.
But they're calling this the Expendables of horror, meaning they have all the horror icons in it. Like Kane Hodder from Friday the 13th was in it. Well, it's Bill Moseley, Sid Haig. They were in Rob Zombie's House 1,000 Corpses.
So, and you came and what, design sets?
Yeah, so he got a hold of me, and he asked me to, they said they needed a set designer. So, and he said he remembered my booth, because I decked out my booth at the show to look like Cayo. And so I ended up going down there, and I guess it was a real thing. And I spent a month in Holmesburg prison in Philadelphia.
So, wow, that's cool. So
how do you come up with this? Again, for me, it's different because I'm petrified of this stuff. But obviously, you love it. You have a passion for it, and obviously a creative talent for stuff like. How do you come up with some of the ideas? What type of stuff do you use? How do you know? I mean, I just wouldn't even know where to begin.
Right. It's like I guess when I create things, it's not like I'm trying to like research or get ideas through the internet or stuff like that. I guess it's just imagination, and it's like watching a movie in your head, and just you see it in your head, and you're just like, oh wow, that's cool, and just write it down. I don't know where it comes from. I just listen to it. So
is this something? Was this the first film you were part of?
Yeah, of that size. Yeah, that was a pretty big film, and the full crews and everything like that. So,
and is this do you think this is something where you could, find steady work doing something like this?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice. I'm usually pretty selective, like who I would do that for, because I mean, you can't pass that up.
Sure.
But, I really appreciated the director I worked with, and
who was it?
Harrison Smith, his name was.
And Expendables of Horror, is that out yet?
Right. It's called Death House, but they're subtitling it the Expendables of Horror.
Okay.
Just for marketing, I guess.
Okay.
I guess it's supposed to come out in October, but now I hear it's going to be next year. So,
okay.
But it would have been perfect for us because we could advertise, go see Death House and come to Cayo.
Sure.
So the attraction actually opens this weekend,
right?
And then you'll be every weekend through the end of the month.
We actually went through, or we had our first weekend now, and now we're we're ready for the rest of the season. it's going pretty well.
And so ticket prices, if you want, you actually can go see either attraction separately, or you can buy a ticket and go see all 4.
Right. If you go through Biowar, Biotech, Revelations, $10, or the Archana Asylum's $13, or you can enter all 3 for $30, and you get the Archana Asylum for free.
So, do you track how many people come through your gates every year? Or your factory, your
right, we try
warehouse?
to.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get a lot of people from Syracuse, Albany. Sometimes we have people write us coming from out of state. So we bring a lot of people to Utica, and we're glad to be a staple in the area.
About how many people do you think come through every year?
I don't know.
Do you know? Is it like
thousands?
Yeah, I was going to say, is it 20,000 people?
I wish.
Oh no, it's not that much.
It's not even half that.
Oh, it's not even half that. Well, still, it's because I actually grew up in East Utica.
Okay.
And I am over by Broad Street quite frequently, and I know every month, every year in October, I mean, you guys have lines going right down the road. It's unbelievable how popular this Cayo Industrial Warehouse of Horror is.
Nice.
And you got for folks who want more info, the website cayoindustrial.com. You also have a Facebook page as well.
Right.
And that's Cayo, CAYO.
Yeah, CAYO. Yes.
All right.
And if you go on the cayoindustrial.com page on the on a computer, it's a lot different than the mobile site. You know, the mobile site's pretty quick, and the cayoindustrial.com site's more interactive. But we all encourage people, you know, go on our Facebook, like our Facebook page, because we always do like updates and stuff like that.
All right.
For our
Josh Reale, this is really scary, I have to tell you.
No pun intended.
No pun intended. Thanks for joining us. Again, the website, cayoindustrial.com. We'll take a quick time out and come back with more of This Week in the Mohawk Valley.